Alright, you guys, it is me again. Shana. So today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I know, like, roughly a month ago, I said that I was going to maybe do, every now and then, like, non-horror stuff. Like, last month I think it was last month, I talked about Degrassi Junior High and stuff. And I know that's really like the only like non-horror video I've done so far. I know I've been kind of slacking on that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do it once in a while where I do a video talking about something like pretty much totally unrelated to horror movies. Just because as a lot of you guys know, a lot of you horror fans know, we love horror, but that's just one aspect of our lives. So I figure, yeah, you know what? I'll do some non-horror related stuff once in a while. And plus too, like when I share this stuff on Facebook, I know a lot of people on my friends list and like, my family and stuff, a lot of them are not as into horror as I am. So a lot of these videos, I think they're just like, whatever, whatever. So yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about a kind of short-lived TV show. I guess kind of a cult classic. I don't know too many people who are aware of this show. I think a couple people on my Facebook page know of the show, have seen the show. At work, there's literally one other person who knows of the show, and I will probably, unless if I get totally distracted and I forget, there is a little story behind how I discovered how someone at work knows about this movie and really enjoys this show as well. And that show is the 99 to 2000 show, Strangers with Candy. So yeah, this show was first aired, actually only aired, like you said, between 99 to 2000. There's the first season there, and it was on for a total of 3 seasons. Sorry. So yeah, so 3 seasons it ran for. And pretty like short seasons. I think each season got maybe had 13 episodes, kind of like the standard 13, I think. I could be wrong on that. 3, 4, 5. So I think actually maybe more like 10-ish episodes per season, roughly. So yeah, like I said, if you ever want to like binge watch something kind of quick, this series you could probably get through in like a day if you wanted. And you don't even have to watch it like in chronological order because they did not like, you know, it's more of like an anthology show, I guess, where you really don't even have to watch it in order. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I usually don't watch it in order. So yeah, so this show stars and actually was written by Stephen Colbert, Amy Sedaris, Paul Dinello. It was written by those guys, and then I know, crap, what's his name? What's his name? Greg Holloman, who, where is he? I just saw him. Who plays the principal, right there. Onyx Blackman. Yeah, it's one of those type of shows where it's so like it's obviously it was on Comedy Central, like I said. Um, very politically incorrect show. So like, there's a lot of things in here where like if you take this show seriously, you'd be offended. But it's like I said, it's so over the top and so politically incorrect, like blatantly politically incorrect that like you almost can't be offended by it. Like I know there's oftentimes like in the show like many like Mexican like jokes, and I'm half Mexican and I'm not like offended by it. I'm like I should be offended, but I'm like given the context of the show and everything, like I can't even be offended. It's funny. So yeah, so they initially did this show, or initially they were kind of like inspired to do the show after I forget her name, but this like, I guess they came across this, like, footage from, like, the 70s or something, or, like, the 60s or 70s about this lady who is a total, like, recluse. She was, like, a drug addict, runaway, just whatever. And, she cleaned her life up, and I guess she was like a chain smoker and would go around to all these schools just being like, oh, you do this, you do that, you're gonna die, blah, blah, blah. Like, just a character unto herself, and really kind of inspired the Jerry Blank character right here, played by Amy Sedaris. Um, it just, yeah, like I said, so funny, so over the top. I'll be back in a shortly. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of where it was inspired from, was this lady or whatever. And then the format was they kind of wanted to do it as, like, I don't even know if I want to say homage, but I'm going with it, almost like an homage of, like, after school specials. And you definitely do kind of feel that with watching these shows, where it's like, every week there's, in these little, like, after school specials, or these little, like, shows that were coming out where it's like, oh, every week there's, like, a new situation that you have to solve, and blah, blah, blah. And it's the way that they talk about some of the subject matters. Like, I know in one episode, um, I think, in the first season, where Jerry Blank tries to. Oh, and by the way, too, before I get into it, a little more about the main character, Jerry Blank. For those of you who have not seen this, sorry, I've seen this show so many times that, like, I just automatically think, like, everyone knows about the show, when I clearly just stated at the beginning of this that I feel like not a lot of people know about the show, or at least people that I know don't know about the show, which makes me think maybe I should find a better group of people who like the same stuff as me, but whatever, I know some cool people. So anyway, so the main character, Jerry Blank, she's a 47-year-old high school dropout runaway. Yeah, which is, like, weird in itself. When your main character is a 47-year-old high school dropout who then goes back to high school as a freshman, like, it's gonna be one of those weird, goofy-ass shows. And it's funny, too, because it's, like, no one in the show, like, none of, like, the students, like, who are her friends or anything, don't even think twice about that, of, like, dude, she's 47 and she's in high school. Like, go get your GED. Yeah, like, so, anyway, so, one of the episodes is, like, their, special after-school, special episodes, was that Jerry was gonna go try out for the debate team. And, everyone's kind of, like, poking fun of her weight, like, oh, you could sell your arguments by the pound, and blah, blah, blah. And, so then she ends up starting to, like, starve herself and, like, become bulimic, and making herself throw up and everything. And it's like, oh, what do you know? She drops out this week, she is a better debater, and blah, blah, blah. And at the end, when, like, the family so kind of, like, ignores it and everything, of, like, I think at one point, they found, like, diuretics or something in Jerry's locker that were planted by her teachers. And, like, her stepmom, who's, like, the same age as her, and her dad, Jerry's dad's, like, 90 years old. You know, the teacher comes and is like, oh, we found these in her locker. And Jerry's like, those aren't mine. And the mom's like, well, yeah, because those are mine. And, like, they send her to bed without dinner, even though she's, like, anorexic, which isn't helping. At the end of that episode, though, her little pet chicken Suki ends up getting cooked and being delicious, and she eats her. So her anorexia went away. But yeah, just really, like, goofy scenarios and everything. Like, the mom, I think in one episode, like, Jerry was going to try out for, like, the school play or something. She gets the lead part, and her stepmom is, like, suddenly an alcoholic. Like, the pressure's on Jerry and everything. And at one point, like, the mom, like, Jerry and her mom are getting into an argument, and Jerry's calling her, like, oh, you're an alcoholic, blah, blah, blah. And the mom's like, oh, I don't have an alcoholic, so she literally, like, next to her bottles of booze is, like, her mixers, you know, like her Bloody Mary mixers and her margarita mixers and everything. She takes those bottles, the mixers, and dumps them down the drain. Like, oh yeah, if I'm a problem, why would I be dumping these? Like, just really goofy things like that. And you know, if you guys do ever get these, like I said, there's only 3 seasons. I've had these for like 10 years now, and I think even back then when I bought these from Amazon, I think they were like relatively cheap. I'm not sure how much they are now, if you can still get them. I'm sure you can still get them. But yeah, pretty cheap. If you guys do get them though, like, um, they each one has like a few special features. Like the first 2 seasons on like the first disc have like audio commentary on a few of the episodes, which is hilarious. You should watch the audio commentary on those. They're funny. And the first season actually has the original pilot, which I also highly recommend. I really like the pilot. Very different from like how the show actually ended up turning out being and everything. It was more of like a feel of like the 70s and everything. And also too, the mother initially in that original pilot was played by the actors who eventually became the gym teacher for the series, and she was actually replaced with Deborah Rush as being the mom. Who Deborah Rush in that uh, show is hilarious. Like I know she's been in, she's done a few episodes of like Orange Is the New Black as the chick's mom or something. Um, but yeah, so it's a good little series. Check it out. You should check it out. And oh, the little story about work and stuff. So yeah, like I said, like literally, no one in my work like has ever heard of this show, and I literally spout out lines from the show all the time, and people never ever even know that I'm referencing anything. You know, like if I'm going to lunch or something, I'll do the whole like, oh, I'll be back in a shortly line or something, or don't have a beef stew. So yeah, this was, and I remember this conversation. It was actually like probably like 8 months ago, 8 or 9 months ago. I was actually like had just gotten to work. I was in my back area, like cleaning something or something like that, and my produce team lead was back there. We were talking or something. He was like, "Oh, you know, I just heard this. I got the song "Carry On My Wayward Son" song stuck in my head or whatever," and I kind of like sang a line of it. I was like, "Oh, I love that song," but only thing though is every time I hear it, I think of the show called Strangers with Candy. And he literally, like, at this point, my back was towards him, and I heard him, like, drop the knives because he was cutting fruit. He dropped the knives, like, one of those, like clumsy little, sorry, those little more dramatic than I thought. Just like, I could tell that he was like, wait a second, like, you know, the show is like, you could tell by the drop that I was like, wait, what? So I'd look at him, he's just like, it's like, you know that show? You know Strangers with Candy? I'm like, yes! I'm like, wait, you know this show? He's like, I love that show. I own it. I'm like, so we both were just like, oh my god, we had that moment where we were like someone else in the store, you know, knows this show, and we actually ever since then, every so often, we will, like, if we're passing each other, we will reference the show. We will just say a line from the show or something. And, you know, like, he's actually, like, a team lead. So oftentimes I will, like, if he's kind of like, oh, I gotta do this, or, you know, I'm like, dude, don't have beef stew! Chillax! But yeah, so that was my little, like, side note, because I know I mentioned that I had a little story about the show. Um, but yeah, so, like I said, I feel like some of you guys know of this show. A lot of you, I feel like I come across a lot of people who do not know the show. Check it out! I don't think it's on Netflix. Could be maybe on Crackle. If not, probably YouTube. I mean, you can pretty much... Sorry, excuse me. Take a little throat. Hang on. Okay, sorry. Anyway, my biggest fear is, like, I'm gonna get an itch one day and like some like weird ass bug's gonna come out of my mouth, like the ton of horror movies I watch. Anyway, but yeah, so like I said, worst case scenario, look it up on YouTube. I'm sure it's probably somewhere on YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube, pretty much. Um, but yeah, like I said, check it out. I think it's a funny show, especially if you like something like maybe like Daria or something. It's kind of like along the lines of that humor. So, like I said, check it out. Strangers with Candy from '99 to 2000. And by the way, there was a Strangers with Candy movie. I've seen it a couple times. It's Stick with the show, though. Stick with the show. Alright, you guys, but I'm going to call it a day, and you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Probably won't see you guys tomorrow either, so you guys have a wonderful hump day as well.